Meanwhile, millennials and Gen Zs are redefining how they learn about money as they use social media platforms like TikTok and YouTube as means to learn about financial literacy. Shifting away from traditional models through a click of a finger, Head of Marketing at PayJustNow, Daniel Hawkins, joins us now. Thank you so much for your time, Daniel. Would you say that financial literacy has never really been a priority in South Africa, considering the state of the consumer and how people have typically managed their money in the past?
I think that's true. But I think the paradigm shift is happening. I think people are actively seeking that knowledge out on their own terms. Financial literacy is now as simple as logging into YouTube or watching a TikTok explainer. It's fast, it's practical, it's insightful. And I think that a lot of the finfluencers that are available nowadays, they understand the consumer's needs. They understand their financial realities. And that's changing the way financial education happens.
Yeah. So would you say that this is really due to generational shifts in the population?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when I was in my 20s, I had no interest whatsoever about finances, about saving, about, ways of saving money.
Yeah.
I think that's a real shift nowadays. I think it's really great that younger generations are actually looking into this and finding new ways to become financially literate.
And also, would you say that the way in which people learn about money has changed in that it was exclusionary in the past and now it is more inclusionary, where people have basically gone back to the basics and are keen to actually explain things simpler?
I think it's about clarity and control. I think nowadays, understanding exactly what you're signing up for, and people are really wary about the fine print, the hidden fees, and the complicated terms and conditions. And at PayJustNow, we're really trying to be transparent first and foremost. And by doing that, by really understanding the fact that we are interest-free and fee-free, and everyone understands that, we've really built trust with the consumer.
Yeah, it's quite interesting also that you bring up that transparency, because I was going to ask, because of the kind of exclusionary nature of financial literacy in the past, that we had a lot of hidden things in terms and conditions and fine prints in contracts, and particularly credit contracts. And I was wondering if now, with this kind of accessibility to financial literacy, if it then translates into companies actually being more open. Do you think that we could start to see a shift where more companies are acting in this way?
I'd like to think so. And I think that's, companies are being forced to do that now because consumers are very savvy. They know exactly what they're getting into. They read the fine print. And we referred earlier on to social media. You can go into social media, you can research for yourself. You can get experiences from other people in the real world, and that's fantastic because it's very, very difficult to actually pull the wool over anyone's eyes nowadays. It's all about assessing affordability and what the consumer can actually afford. And at PayJustNow, that's central to us.
Well, you mentioned something interesting, that a lot of financial advice now is also being provided by the social media influencers, finfluencers, as you called them. But does that not make it harder to verify who you should be getting financial advice from?
Well, the FSC actually put some legislation in this week on that very point. So I think it's really good. The fact is, there's a lot of noise out there. And what I always say is, if it's genuine education, if you can see that I'm learning from you and your experience and how the platforms that how you're saving money, that's one thing. But as soon as I hear things like get rich quick, guaranteed income, act quickly, time's running out, that's a red flag for me. So, we try very hard to make sure that never happens at PayJustNow, and that's why transparency is so central to us.
Yeah, and also a lot of people are offering courses where you have to pay $500 at a discounted rate to get. So yeah,
it's a red flag for me.
Exactly. In terms of borrowing, you've said in your note that millennials and Gen Zs are increasingly rejecting traditional credit models for alternative options. What does that mean? What exactly are we looking at here?
I think it's about cost, and I think it's about convenience. I think high interest credit cards and revolving credit don't appeal to this younger generation at all. I think they're very, very cautious about debt.
Yeah.
They're looking for better alternatives, and I think PayJustNow gives you that. You know, when we say interest-free, we say flexible payments, we really mean that.
Yeah.
And that aligns very well with the affordability of the generation.
Yeah. And actually, what can you say then about the advancements of technology in this effort to make financial literacy more inclusive? Yeah, and actually how you're looking at that evolution of technology. I mean, we've even got AI at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's, as I say, a very exciting time. I think the way that technology businesses like ourselves are assessing for affordability are ensuring that credit is not extended if you can't afford it, that you can or that the individual can actually realistically manage it, is fantastic. You know, our default rate is under 2%, which is incredibly low. And that's because we don't overextend people. We have a lot of technology that ensures that the consumer can actually afford, and that's smart, sustainable spending.
All right. Well, we do have to wrap up the conversation there. Thank you so much for your time and for your insights that have been very, very enlightening today, Daniel. That was Head of Marketing at PayJustNow, Daniel Hawkins.